Cahokia was one of the greatest cities ever built by ancient Native Americans. Located in what is now Illinois, this vast settlement thrived nearly 1,000 years ago and was home to around 20,000 people at its peak. It wasn't just a simple village, it was a bustling urban center with impressive architecture, including massive earthwork mounds and multi-story buildings. For centuries, Cahokia stood as a powerful reminder that Native American civilizations created complex, thriving societies long before European contact. Long before European explorers, soldiers, and settlers arrived in North America, the land north of Mexico was home to as many as 18 million native people. Contrary to the old stereotype that all Native Americans lived as nomadic hunters, many of them built thriving urban centers filled with complexity, trade, and monumental architecture. One of the greatest examples was Cahokia, located in present-day Illinois. At its peak between 1100 and 1150 AD, Cahokia's population swelled to nearly 20,000 people, making it larger than London at the same time. Meanwhile, in New Mexico's Chaco Canyon, another culture was constructing massive stone buildings that remained the largest structures in North America until the rise of steel skyscrapers centuries later. Historians describe this era as a landscape shaped by diverse native peoples, each creating their own unique patterns of settlement. And Cahokia was the crown jewel of them all. Sprawling over 5 square miles, Cahokia rose in a fertile floodplain that offered rich soil for farming, abundant forests for resources, and access to the Mississippi River for transportation and trade. Archaeologists believe it was not just a city but also a major trading hub at the heart of the Mississippian culture. The city's design mirrored that of a modern metropolis. On the outskirts stood residential neighborhoods made of houses built from sapling frames, clay walls, and prairie grass roofs. Inside the city's defensive palisade wall were ceremonial and political centers, including the Grand Plaza and dozens of monumental earthen mounds. In fact, more than 100 mounds stretched for miles beyond the central city. Some were the bases of important community structures, others were burial mounds, and some served as markers that defined Cahokia's boundaries. At the heart of it all stood Monks Mound, the largest earthen structure in North America. Rising 100 feet high with 4 terraces and a long ramp leading to the top, it dominated the skyline of the city. From its summit, leaders and residents could look out across the sprawling urban center, a reminder of the sophistication and power of the ancient Native American world. One of the most remarkable features of Cahokia is that it seems to have been deliberately planned from the very beginning. Around 1000 AD, its builders created a massive rectangular Grand Plaza, carefully aligned in a way that reflected the native vision of the cosmos. According to archaeologist Thomas Emerson, Cahokia was not a city that simply grew slowly over generations, it was built with ambition and vision from the start. Its founders had a clear plan for a monumental center of power and belief. Yet the forces that brought Cahokia to life remain a mystery. Was it the arrival of a visionary religious leader? The influence of a foreign elite group? Or perhaps the introduction of maize agriculture that allowed population growth on an unprecedented scale? Scholars still debate the exact spark, but what is clear is that Cahokia quickly became the most powerful urban center in ancient Native America. Just as mysterious as its rise is Cahokia's decline. By around 1250, the city's population began to dwindle, and by 1350 the once great urban center was abandoned. Some researchers believe climate change played a role. A decrease in rainfall may have devastated maize production, undermining the city's food supply. Others argue that Cahokia's diversity was both its strength and its downfall. With tens of thousands of people arriving from across the mid-continent, the city was a mosaic of cultures, traditions, and beliefs. Maintaining unity in such a vast and varied society required strong consensus, and once that cohesion broke down, the community may have fractured into smaller groups tied to kinship, religion, or ethnicity. Cahokia's story remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of ancient Native American history: how such an advanced, thriving city rose so quickly, and why it collapsed just as dramatically. Far to the southwest of Cahokia, another extraordinary center of ancient Native American life flourished: Chaco Canyon in what is now New Mexico. Between 850 and 1250 AD, this settlement became the ceremonial, trade, and administrative hub of an extensive network of communities spread across the region. Some of these outlying settlements were located more than 60 miles away, yet they were all connected by a sophisticated system of roads and irrigation. Chaco Canyon itself was a marvel of engineering. Its soil was too salty to support large-scale farming, so food and resources had to be imported from neighboring communities. This interdependence made Chaco not just a local center, but the beating heart of a vast cultural network. What set Chaco Canyon apart was its architecture. The builders developed advanced stone masonry techniques that allowed them to construct more than 150 multi-story structures, some rising 5 or 6 stories tall and containing hundreds of rooms. These monumental buildings, known as great houses, required immense resources, including roughly 240,000 trees brought from mountain ranges as far as 50 miles away. Most scholars believe these great houses were not ordinary residences. Instead, they served as gathering places for rituals, ceremonies, and trade, drawing people from across the region. In their scale and sophistication, they were unmatched in North America until the rise of modern cities centuries later. According to anthropologist Larry Benson, the massive great houses of Chaco Canyon were more than impressive architecture, they were symbols of authority. Elite chiefs oversaw their construction as a way to display power and influence. Interestingly, these leaders did not actually live inside the canyon itself. Instead, they resided in wetter, more productive regions on the edges of the San Juan Basin, where they directed food production and the harvesting of animals that supported the Chacoan network. In 2017, DNA evidence revealed just how centralized this power may have been. Analysis of human remains suggested that Chaco Canyon was ruled for more than 300 years by a dynastic elite. This lineage controlled ritual practices at Pueblo Bonito, a sprawling 600-room complex that stood as the centerpiece of Chacoan society. But like Cahokia, Chaco Canyon eventually fell silent. The reasons remain debated. Some have argued that overharvesting of timber caused environmental collapse, but a 2014 study by researchers at the University of New Mexico found little evidence to support widespread deforestation as the cause. The mystery of Chaco's decline continues to intrigue historians and archaeologists alike. What is clear is that both Cahokia and Chaco Canyon remind us that ancient Native American civilizations were far more complex, sophisticated, and interconnected than most people realize. Their cities were monumental achievements that rivaled, and in some ways surpassed, those of Europe during the same era. If you enjoyed this exploration into the lost urban centers of ancient Native America, make sure to like this video, subscribe to History Love for more deep dives into the past, and share it with someone who loves history as much as you do. And let us know in the comments, which city fascinates you more, Cahokia or Chaco Canyon?